Hello folks. So this video is going to be covering a mini lecture on setting up your essay, specifically how to formulate strong introductions and conclusions. There is a PowerPoint that I'm not sure where I'm pointing. There's a PowerPoint that goes along with it that should be just above the link to this video on the Canvas module for this week. Cleverly titled Strong Introductions and Conclusions. So go ahead and open that up and you can follow along with me. So today we are going to be discussing the hourglass method of setting up your essay. You guys may have learned about this in earlier composition classes in high school or in 1013, but this is my preferred method of setting up an essay, and hopefully it gives you some guidance on how to set up your essays. So in essence, how the hourglass method works is that you should go from broad down to specific, and then from specific back out to broad again. So you should start with a relatively broad statement, talking about what your topic is. For the think piece, this can be your personal narrative introducing your topic, and then narrow it down to your thesis statement, or some sort of specific statement as to what in particular you're going to discuss about this topic. In general, I'm going to be talking about women in sports, and more specifically, I'm going to discuss how Olympic uniform rules are unfair to women and discriminatory against women because of XYZ reasons. Now, when you set up your XYZ reasons in your introductory paragraph in your thesis statement, when you list the major points that you're going to be discussing in your essay, your body paragraphs should follow that same basic order. Treat your audience kind of like, a very smart golden retriever. Assume that we're going to get confused or lost or forget things if you don't lay things out for us very specifically and very exactly. So start broad, go down to your specific details, and the specific details in your body paragraphs will be your sources, your opinions, your analysis of different sources, that sort of thing. And then you should widen it again for your conclusion, and end on kind of a broader, more global look at the topic. So on our next slide, we have how to set up your introduction. Generally speaking, this can work for pretty much any essay genre. It can work for the think piece, it will work for the research paper, it works for rhetorical analysis. I bet you it'll work for a lab report as well. So for your introduction, you want to start with a broad statement. What is your overall subject? Why are we reading this paper? Why should we be interacting with this paper? Why should we be interested in what you have to say? Then at some point you have your thesis. So what is your main argument? And then you can talk about your main points. What will you be discussing in your body paragraphs? What are the specifics of this paper? Now, for me personally, I think you can either have your thesis as one of the first sentences of your introduction or one of the very last sentences of your introduction. I think either way could work depending on how you're setting things up. Place it at the beginning, see if it flows well there. Place it at the end, see if it flows better there. Just try different placements of your thesis sentence to see what works the best for you and for your specific topic. So that's basically how to set up your introduction. Broad statement on your overall subject, main argument, main talking points. And on our last slide, we have how to set up a strong conclusion. So we have the reverse of the introduction, essentially. Restate your main points. Remind us what you discussed in your essay above. I would say, in general, 1 to 2 sentences dedicated to each main point that you made. You don't want to go into excruciating detail about what you just discussed, but kind of just summarize for us what your main arguments were. Reword your thesis. Remind us of your main argument. Don't just copy and paste your thesis from the introduction. Teachers notice things like that. But restate your main argument while not having it be exactly the same thing as your thesis statement. And then as you're exiting your paper, as your reader is exiting your paper, you want to ask the question, so what? Or what next? Or now what? These are all questions that you want to give answers to for your reader. So what do you want your reader to remember the most about your essay? What do you want us to take away from your essay? Like when we put the essay down and we're thinking about it a couple days later, what is the main thing that you want us to be thinking about? For your think piece, these can be your solutions, your suggestions, but it's basically giving us a reason why we've spent 5 to 7 pages with you on this topic. Close out your essay by giving your reader something strong to think about. And that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, I am available by email as always, or you may ask me Thursday in class, or come to my office hours. But I feel the hourglass method is a good, strong way of setting up an essay, a good way to introduce your topic and to give your readers something to think about at the end. So thank you very much for listening to my video lecture, and have a wonderful rest of your day.